Look at her. Really look at her. She has everything that previous generations of women could only dream of. The education, the career, the financial independence, the sexual liberation. She has the freedom to choose any path, any partner, any lifestyle. The mantra, "the future is female," is plastered on her coffee mug and echoed in every corner of the culture. And yet, she is utterly, profoundly, chronically miserable. You see it every day. It's the existential dread hiding behind the Instagram filters. It's the anxiety medication rattling in the designer handbag. It's the relentless dissatisfaction that permeates every conversation, every decision, every interaction. She complains that she is overwhelmed, yet she refuses to slow down. She complains that she is lonely, yet she pushes away genuine connection. She complains that men are weak, yet she punishes strength. You, the man in her life, or the man observing this phenomenon, are caught in the crossfire of this internal war. You are constantly trying to decipher the source of her unhappiness. You change your behavior. You sacrifice your needs. You offer solutions. It never works. The goalposts are always moving. The void is never filled. You are operating under the assumption that her unhappiness is a temporary state, a problem to be solved, that if you can just find the right combination of words or actions, she will finally be content. Stop. Stop lying to yourself. Stop internalizing her misery as your failure. Stop believing the narrative she presents to the world, where she blames the patriarchy, the economy, or you. The reality is this: the modern woman is not unhappy despite her freedom. She is unhappy because of it. She has been sold a lie, a catastrophic, life-destroying lie that has severed her from her own biology, her own nature, and her own path to genuine fulfillment. I've spent decades counseling men and analyzing the wreckage of modern relationships. I have seen behind the facade and the truth they hide. The truth they cannot even admit to themselves is that the very ideology they claim empowers them is the ideology that is poisoning their souls. Today, we are dissecting the pathology of modern female unhappiness. We are exposing the mechanisms that drive this epidemic of misery, and we are revealing why you, as a man, must understand this reality if you want to survive in a world that prioritizes female delusion over objective truth. The central delusion of the modern age is the belief that men and women are the same, that they want the same things, are driven by the same motivations, and achieve happiness through the same means. This is a catastrophic, civilization-destroying lie. Modernity has attempted to overwrite biological software with cultural malware. It has told women that their natural instincts, the desire for connection, security, family. Modernity has attempted to overwrite biological software with cultural malware. It has told them they must suppress these desires and instead pursue the masculine goals of career and nurture are a form of oppression. Conquest. It has told them to become men, and they have tried. They have climbed the corporate ladder. They have embraced sexual liberation. They have rejected the traditional roles that gave their grandmothers meaning and fulfillment. And the result? An epidemic of anxiety, isolation, and existential despair. You are operating under the delusion that if you just support her career enough, if you just validate her independence enough, if you just treat her as an equal enough, she will eventually be happy. Wake up. You are feeding the disease. You are encouraging her to pursue goals that are fundamentally incompatible with her nature. She is like a carnivorous animal that has been convinced by ideology to eat a vegetarian diet. She is starving. She is physically deteriorating. She is miserable. But she keeps insisting that the diet is empowering because the academics told her so. And you are the one trying to convince her that the salad tastes like steak. It doesn't, and it never will. Conventional advice tells you to empower her, to celebrate her strength. This advice is poison. It is pushing her further into the void. You need to stop trying to make her happy. You cannot, because the very definition of happiness she is operating under is flawed. She is chasing a mirage, and if you follow her, you are the one who will die of thirst. Why is the modern woman so chronically unhappy? It is not random. You are the one who will die of thirst. Why is the modern woman so chronically unhappy? You must accept these 4 brutal truths. Brutal truth number 1. The paradox of choice. The infinite menu. We live in an age of unprecedented freedom and opportunity. This should be a golden age of female happiness. It is not. It is an age of paralysis, regret, and chronic dissatisfaction. This is the paradox of choice. When you have too many options, you are paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong choice. And when you finally do choose, you are haunted by the regret of the paths not taken. Think about ordering food at a restaurant with a 500-page menu. You spend an hour agonizing over the decision, and when the food finally arrives, you are disappointed because you are convinced that somewhere in those 500 pages, there was a better option. This is the daily reality of the modern woman, particularly in the realm of relationships. The rise of dating apps and social media has created an illusion of infinite romantic options. She is constantly bombarded with images of perfect relationships, exotic vacations, and idealized masculinity. Hypergamy, the female imperative to seek the highest status male available, is running on overdrive. She is constantly comparing her current partner to the idealized men she sees online. She is constantly wondering if she can do better. She is told never to settle. This is why she is never satisfied. This is why she is always restless. I had a client whose wife divorced him after 10 years of marriage. This is why she is never satisfied. He was a good provider, a great father. Her reason? She felt unfulfilled. She felt like she had settled. Within a year, she was bouncing between dating apps, having casual encounters with men who treated her terribly. She was objectively more miserable than she had ever been in the marriage, but she preferred the anxiety of the infinite menu to the stability of the committed relationship. She is trapped in a cycle of inflated expectations and inevitable disappointment. She is looking for a fantasy that does not exist, and she is destroying her own life in the process. Brutal truth number 2. The war against biology, the denial of nature. The most destructive lie of modernity is the idea that biology is irrelevant, that gender is a social construct, that women can suppress their natural instincts without consequence. This is the war against biology, and it is a war that women are losing spectacularly. The modern narrative tells women to prioritize career over family, independence over interdependence, power over love. It tells them to utilize their peak fertility years, their 20 seconds, not for finding a mate and having children, but for climbing the corporate ladder and engaging in casual sex. This creates a profound cognitive dissonance, a misalignment between their biology and their behavior, a constant internal conflict that manifests as anxiety, depression, and chronic unhappiness. This is the archetype of the boss babe. Depression, a constant internal conflict that manifests as anxiety. The woman who follows the script and achieves financial success. The biological clock starts ticking. The realization dawns that her career success is meaningless without a family, without a legacy, without love. This is the epiphany phase, the sudden realization that she has been sold a bill of goods, but now the dynamics have shifted. Her sexual market value SMV has declined. The men she wants are looking for younger women. She is forced to settle for men she previously would have ignored, or face the prospect of being childless and alone. I know a woman, a brilliant executive, who made partner at a prestigious firm at 38. She had everything she thought she wanted: the corner office, the 6-figure salary, the respect of her peers, and she was deeply depressed. She realized that she had sacrificed her fertility, her youth, and her chance at a family for a job that ultimately provided no emotional fulfillment. She realized that she was alone, isolated, and facing a bleak future. She had won the game by the rules of modernity, but she had lost the game by the rules of life. The unhappiness you witness is the sound of biology screaming for recognition. It is the consequence of a society that has pathologized femininity and glorified the imitation of masculinity. Brutal truth. Number 3. The unhappiness you witness is the sound of biology screaming for recognition. We live in a society obsessed with appearance, status, and external validation. Social media has amplified these tendencies to a catastrophic degree, creating a validation economy where attention is the currency and authenticity is the casualty. Modern women are the primary consumers and products in this economy. They are addicted to the dopamine hits of likes, comments, and followers. This creates an Instagram delusion, a false reality where everyone is beautiful, successful, and happy. And when they compare this delusion to the mundane reality of their own lives, they are consumed by envy, inadequacy, and chronic dissatisfaction. This is like drinking salt water to quench thirst. It seems like a solution, but it only exacerbates the dehydration. The validation economy also inflates female expectations of relationships. They see the curated highlights of other people's lives and demand the same level of constant excitement, romance, and perfection in their own relationships. They are looking for a man who is simultaneously a billionaire CEO, a spiritual guru, a world-class lover, and an emotionally available therapist. They are looking for a man who does not exist. This is why the modern woman is so difficult to please. This is why she is constantly complaining, criticizing, and demanding more. She is living in a state of perpetual comparison anxiety. Furthermore, the validation economy destroys the capacity for genuine connection. Relationships become performative. She is living in a state of perpetual comparison anxiety. She is surrounded by people, yet she is profoundly alone. She has thousands of followers, yet she has no genuine validation. Her unhappiness is the direct result of a culture that has prioritized image over substance. Brutal truth. Number 4. The destruction of the container, the absence of masculine frame. This is perhaps the most profound and least understood cause of modern female unhappiness. The feminine psyche is inherently chaotic, emotional, and fluid. This is not a criticism. It is a description of its nature. To thrive, the feminine needs a strong masculine container, a structure of boundaries, leadership, stability, and emotional control. The masculine provides the frame within which the feminine can express itself freely and securely. Think of a river. The river is the feminine powerful, life-giving, but also potentially destructive if not contained. The riverbanks are the masculine strong, stable, directing the flow of the river, providing structure and purpose. Modern society has systematically dismantled the riverbanks. Feminism has attacked the legitimacy of male authority and leadership. It has pathologized masculinity, labeling strength as toxic and stoicism as emotionally unavailable. And men have abdicated their responsibility. They have become weak, compliant, and feminized. They have become weak, compliant. They are anxious. They are overwhelmed. They are constantly testing the boundaries, looking for the strength they crave, but finding only weakness. The unhappiness of the modern woman is the profound insecurity of living without a strong masculine frame. It is the anxiety of the river overflowing its banks. She consciously demands equality and independence, but subconsciously craves leadership and protection. And the modern world, having emasculated the men who could provide it, offers neither. So, this is the reality. The modern woman is chronically unhappy because she is living in a state of biological denial, paralyzed by infinite choice, addicted to validation, and burdened by the absence of masculine authority. What does this mean for you, the man trying to build a life in this chaotic landscape? The first thing you must understand is this: Her unhappiness is not your fault, and it is not your responsibility to fix it. You cannot save her from herself. If you try, and it is not your responsibility to fix it, you must detach. If you try, yourself, you must detach. You must accept the reality of the situation and focus on the only thing you can control. Abandon the happiness project. Stop asking her what she wants. Stop trying to satisfy her endless demands. You must accept that her happiness is an internal job. When she complains about her life, do not engage. Do not offer solutions. Do not validate the complaints. Your focus must be on your own mission, your own goals, your own peace of mind. If she demands that you prioritize her happiness over your mission, you must refuse. Your mission is non-negotiable. It is the source of your strength, your value, and your masculinity. Vet ruthlessly. The red flag radar. If you choose to engage in relationships with modern women, you must do so with extreme caution. You must develop a ruthless vetting process to identify the signs of the chronic unhappiness syndrome. Look for the red flags. The obsession with social media and validation. The constant complaints about stress, burnout, and anxiety. The perpetual victim narrative. The sense of entitlement and unrealistic expectations. The rejection of traditional roles and the prioritization of career over family. The history of unstable relationships and the inability to commit. Do not ignore these red flags. Do not believe the lie that she will change for you. She will not. Walk away. San. Be the rock, the power of indifference. If she is the chaos, you must be the order. If she is the storm, you must be the lighthouse. You must cultivate a profound, stoic indifference to her emotional turbulence. You must remain grounded in your reality, unmoved by her anxieties, and unaffected by her dissatisfaction. This does not mean being cold or cruel. It means being strong. When you are the rock, you provide the stability and security that she subconsciously craves. You create the structure that allows her to relax into her femininity. Paradoxically, your indifference to her unhappiness might be the only thing that can help her, because it forces her to take responsibility for her own emotional state. Prioritize your excellence and prepare for the exit. The modern relationship market is broken. Marriage is a rigged game. The only true security you have is your own excellence. Focus on maximizing your value. Build your body. Build your finances. Build your skills. Build your network. Become the best possible version of yourself, not for her, but for you. Furthermore, you must protect yourself legally and financially. Do not marry the modern woman expecting a traditional outcome. If you marry the delusion, you will end up in divorce court. Prenuptial agreements and a clear understanding of the legal risks are non-negotiable. Accept the reality, the freedom of letting go. You must accept the possibility that she will never change, that she will always be chronically unhappy, and you must be willing to walk away. If her unhappiness is destroying your peace of mind, if her dissatisfaction is eroding your mission, if her refusal to accept reality is creating a toxic environment, then you must let her go. Your life is too short to be collateral damage in a war she cannot win. Walking away is not a failure. It is an act of self-preservation. So there you have it. The brutal truth about why modern women are chronically unhappy. It is a tragedy of epic proportions. A generation of women who have been lied to, manipulated, and led astray by a culture that despises nature, denies biology, and worships delusion. They are the victims of a societal experiment that has failed catastrophically. But their tragedy does not have to be yours. You now understand the mechanisms at play. The paradox of choice, the war against biology, the validation economy, and the absence of masculine authority. You have the protocol to protect yourself. The path is clear. But are you going to take it? Your indifference to her unhappiness might be the only thing that can help her. Most of you watching this are too invested in the delusion. You are too addicted to the role of the savior. You are too terrified of being alone. Or worse, being called a misogynist for speaking the truth. You will watch this video, or worse, and then you will go right back to trying to make her happy. You will go right back to absorbing her anxiety, validating her complaints, and sacrificing your mission for her sake. Why? Because it's easier. It's easier to remain in the familiar misery of a dysfunctional relationship than to face the terrifying uncertainty of standing alone. It's easier to believe the lie that you can save her than to accept the reality that you can only save yourself. It's easier to be a slave to her emotions than to be a master of your own destiny. So go ahead, ignore everything I just said. Keep trying to fill the void. Keep wondering why nothing is ever enough. Keep waiting for the inevitable collapse. Or you can wake up. You can accept the brutal reality. You can detach from the chaos. You can reclaim your masculinity and build a life based on truth, strength, and purpose. The choice is yours. But remember this: they demanded a kingdom, but they cannot bear the weight of the crown. Prove me wrong. If you have witnessed this chronic unhappiness firsthand, I want to hear your observations in the comments. What patterns do you see? How are you navigating this reality? We need to expose the failure of the modern experiment.